Hey everyone, this is Kid of Heartlands Media. We are wrapping up this event with the Northside Democracy for America, and we're joined here with a guest who was previously on our show. She ran for the 5th Illinois Congressional District, Sameena Mustafa. Thank you so much for joining Heartlands Media.
Thanks for having me.
So essentially, what is the main purpose of the Northside Democracy for America? What is it right now trying to do as we push forward into the general election and then eventually into the 2019 municipal elections here in Cook County and Illinois?
So, as you know, we just heard from representatives from the Randy Bryce campaign. We heard directly from Kathy Myers and Lauren Underwood, and we were hoping to hear from Sean Casten. I think we're really trying to figure out how we can help candidates flip seats, congressional seats. And we've already heard from all the gubernatorial candidates, and we actually had endorsed Daniel Biss, but I'm sure there's going to be members who are going to help J.B. Pritzker. I think there's an opportunity to help some of the down ballot candidates. Kevin Morrison is one of our endorsed candidates and a voting member, and so I think there's going to be some folks who are going to be helping him. I'm personally looking at ahead to 2019 already. There's some folks who I'm meeting with and talking to see if they could use my help early on. I know we're February 2019 seems like a long time away, but there's some folks that I'm already talking to and hoping to help. There's some DuPage County races, also county board races that I'm looking at, and going to reach out to some of those folks who made it through their primary and see if I can help them flip those seats as well, because as you know, the DuPage County board is very red as well.
Now, of course, during the primary here in Illinois, there was a low voter turnout, especially amongst young people and millennials, and the same thing happened during the May 8th primary in Ohio, North Carolina, Indiana, and West Virginia. So what do progressive groups, independent groups, what kind of change of strategy do they need to do to reach out to possibly the largest voting bloc in U.S. history?
Yeah, I think it's an education piece, right? So I think a lot of people who came out during the 2016 primary, those folks they weren't as engaged in this primary, but I still think there's an opportunity to remind people that there's a general. It's in Illinois especially that's going to make a difference. The more folks who are aware that they can, if they're 17 and going to be 18 on November 6th, that they can register. And I've been talking to younger voters. One of my last campaign appearances before March 20th was with a family that had a lot of high school students attend a meet and greet. And so those folks, the more we can get the word out that they are eligible to vote and they can be part of it. I think the Parkland movement, the March for Our Lives, has done a lot to educate younger voters that their vote is not only important, I mean, that they can register in time for November 6th, but that it's critical. And that there are issues that will affect them directly. And so I think that's done an incredible job of creating that outreach. For my race, it came a little bit late, but I think it will have an impact on November 6th.
Now, going forward, especially as we look at the role of how people, especially new progressives, are going to be stepping up, on May 19th, Nina Turner will be here in the state of Illinois, or especially here in the city of Chicago, in regards to getting women to be actively involved in political organizations and running for office. So as we push forward to future election cycles, 2019, 2020, and further, what will be the impact of women in politics here in the United States?
Yeah, and that event specifically is titled Black Women Lead. So I want to be really respectful of that, and I want to center women of color in this conversation. And Nina Turner is a great example of that, as someone who's really supporting women of color. And I think that's something that gets a lot of lip service. I mean, there's a lot of discussion post Alabama that Black women are critical to the Democratic organization, critical to Democratic votes, but they're not getting the support on the ground, and we're seeing it across the country. So I was really glad that Lauren Underwood was able to join us this evening, and I think we need to support women and women of color with our dollars, but also with our time. And I think that's something that we started to see a lot of energy around women running, and I saw an article recently by NPR that even with the numbers that we had, we didn't have enough women running to really create the parity that we needed. Even if all of them won, we wouldn't have the parity. So what we need to have is not just a year of the woman every 25 years or 26 years. We need to have that be a sustained movement. And in Illinois, we have some organizations that are doing that, but we don't have the robust framework that a lot of people think we do, because I've actually talked to organizations like Emerge. Kathy Myers mentioned Emerge. They don't have a presence here in Illinois. And there's some groups that are national, like Vote, Run, Lead, and She Should Run, but they don't have a robust operation here. So my personal commitment, and just last night I met with the women who worked on my campaign to tell them, look, if you want to run, I'm going to support you. If you want to have some other leadership avenue that you want to pursue, I'm going to support you. Let's create a network, a framework to support ourselves and build that movement locally, because it doesn't really exist in any meaningful way.
And final question, perhaps our viewers and subscribers might want to be interested in volunteering for some of these organizations, such as Northside Democracy for America. Where can they learn more about them and find them on social media?
So Northside Democracy for America has its own Facebook page, and we meet monthly. Every second Wednesday of the month, we meet, and it's one of the few organizations that I feel like it's not just a go to a meeting, sit there passively. You show up, you get to vote on who the organization endorses. You do have to attend 3 meetings and do activities to support endorsed candidates in order to qualify as a voting member. But to me, that's actually a great proxy for being part of an active democracy. And I think it's one of the most robust organizations. It's been around since 2005. Every single major Democratic gubernatorial candidate came here. Tony Preckwinkle, J.B. Pritzker, all of the big candidates came to NDFA to get that endorsement. So to me, if you're a progressive on the north side of Chicago, we have a member in DuPage, this is a place to be. So Northside DFA, and I would also say that I'm sharing all of these on my Facebook page. So if you go to Sameena Mustafa on Facebook, you can find all this information. I am regularly going to events like this and finding other progressive organizations. Shauna East, who was here earlier, who you guys have talked to with Our Revolution, is doing a lot with the Illinois Progressive Network, and we're doing another event in June. And so I'll be sharing that as well. I'm doing an event to talk about gun violence with Jacques Charlier, who's another progressive advocate. So there's a lot that is out there if you want to do more than be on social media. If you actually want to be active, there's a lot of opportunities to be part of truly progressive organizations that do more than just have people speak and have lip service. There's concrete things you can do that help get folks elected.
All right, and that's a great note to end on. Thank you so much, Sameena Mustafa, for joining Heartlands Media. This is Kit. Peace, everyone.
You're watching Heartlands Media.